Hey, this is your host, Anthony Tank Mansfield. And with me today is...
Luke Effler.
And...
Brad Schadler.
And this is What You Into.
What you into? What you into?
All right, we're back in the basement. Luke Effler returning for, how many times, bro?
I was trying to remember on the way here. I think it's 5 times now.
Or maybe more. I don't know. You're a constant fixture on the show at this point.
I got to update my resume regardless.
Yeah, get it on your LinkedIn, man. Make sure you have it out there. And Brad, man, welcome to the show for the first time.
Thank you, man.
And we're having you here because of this, because you reached out to me and were like, hey, I got an idea for a show. And so I was like, yes, let's talk about you in the world of, being on the other side of the counter of a record store. So we're going to get into that today, but thank you for reaching out. I appreciate it. And listener, I should be careful with this. If you have an idea for a show, reach out. And it doesn't mean I'm going to book you, but I like to hear some ideas. Although I will say everybody who's reached out so far has gotten booked. So because everybody so far has come up with really fucking good ideas of what's going on. Hey, before we get into the episode real quick, just going to hit plugs. You know where to find me at Neil to Know on Instagram is where I'm at. You can find my Linktree stuff through there. You want to see Luke's stuff, go check him out at General Walcott on IG. And for Brad, check him out, Sessions Vinyl. Or you can just go visit him at the store, 4011 Alston Street. It's 1A, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45209. And if you're local, it's in Oakley. Okay. Guys, before we jump into the world of record stores, let's jump into another world real quick. And I think it's funny that we all kind of have the same personal experience. So I remember it was years ago, I came into your house for a house party, talking with you. You guys were both playing D&D, and I thought you were really into it. And then today I was like, you guys still doing D&D? And you're both like, that was our one-time thing. And I'm like,
yeah,
I'm in the same experience. Let's talk. So,
yeah,
dude, Dungeons and Dragons is an interesting one because there's a lot of people that it is their thing, but I know so many more people who are just like, I tried it a couple times, man. It was okay.
I will say it was way more fun and different than what I expected.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, it's just like a couple guys hanging out, drinking beers, eating pizza.
Yeah,
and
that's what I went
role-playing.
for. Primarily is the free beer and pizza.
Yes,
but
we had a blast. Though we had a good group.
It was fun. Yeah, it was definitely an eye-opening experience. My ADD is way too bad though.
Yeah,
for Dungeons and Dragons.
You're like, come on, do something. Let's go.
Yeah.
I think part of it too is I would do it again. I think you have to have the exact right group, and we did have a solid group of guys that were all kind of on the same wavelength.
Yeah,
of
and then John was an amazing host, and that I can't even imagine doing it with somebody who's terrible with that. It would have just been painstakingly awful. But that made it fun for sure.
Yeah, I'm always impressed by the Dungeon Master people that can sit down and figure out stories, and then to be able to in real time say stuff back to you, because you can be like, well, I look around the room and what do I see? And they're like, oh, hey, over in that corner's this, and then there's a wooden bookshelf. And, well, can I push it? Yeah, you can push the wooden bookshelf if you want to. Is there anything behind it? No, there's nothing there. Yeah. And just being able to freestyle that and just come up with stuff in your head instantly to be able to focus the story and talk about it.
Yeah. John's been the guy, our mutual friend who we played with. He was the Dungeon Master. He's been doing this for years, right?
Oh yeah.
So I think he just has a ton of tenure at it and a lot of practice. And
now he's got a store. He's selling it.
Yeah. I actually designed his logo for him.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah. Lich Yard Games. We'll shout him out.
Nice.
It's cool. He resells old D&D manuals and stuff like that. It's cool stuff.
That's super cool.
Yeah. They have the best artwork in those books, dude. It's unreal.
Oh yeah. Do you guys remember I'm gonna show my age a little bit, but back in, and I think it was Dungeons and Dragons, but it was these books where you would start an adventure and then you could you had choices of
choose your own adventures.
Do they still make that? I don't know.
Yeah, they had D&D ones of those. Yeah. I remember those.
See, I was really into those.
Nice.
Yeah.
I always thought that was fun as a kid. Yeah, I remember growing up in the 80s reading those books, and you come to a page and it's like, hey,
turn the page.
Yeah, do you jump in the water? If so, turn to page 9, or do you stay on the bridge, turn to page 20, and then you flip and you're like, oh, fuck, I'm dead, or oh, I made the right decision.
Yeah, those are awesome.
I literally, I had not even I forgot all about that until like this very moment. Like it just like popped.
Was that your
head.
introduction to D&D then?
Yeah.
Your
Well,
initial-
there was a cartoon
Oh yeah.
back in the I think the 80s.
The 80s, yeah, the
I
80s
remember that
cartoons.
cartoon.
I love
Yeah.
it. They go into they're in like a little water ride and they go into the
Yep.
tunnel. Yeah, man, that shit
I
was
remember
great.
that.
Yeah.
My initial introduction was actually my best friend growing up across the street had an Intellivision, like the old video game console, and they had an Advanced Dungeons and Dragons video game where you're like a little pixelated guy walking around and you encounter dragons and stuff, and that was the first time I ever encountered it.
I remember I wanted to encounter because I had the same thing where I'd seen the cartoon growing up, but in the 80s we were in the midst of the satanic panic and my mom was very worried about me playing Dungeons and Dragons. And so I was not allowed to play Dungeons and Dragons because of, obviously it's the gateway drug into being a Satanist. And
Yeah, Anton LaVey is going to come to your house and take your kid.
how sick would that be? Anton LaVey shows up to your house to play some D&D with like three blondes from California. He's like, yeah, they do whatever I want. They think I'm the devil or something. Anyways, you want to play D&D? It's like, sure, Anton, let's go.
Do you guys remember the Kiss movie from I think the 70s?
The Phantom Park?
Yeah.
Phantom of the Park.
Well, that's how I got introduced to Kiss. I didn't even know they were like a band. I mean, I can't remember when that came out. 77.
I forget.
I mean, I was young. I was like probably 4 or 5.
Man, I've never seen this movie. This sounds crazy though.
You've never seen it?
No.
Oh, it's
I've only seen
horribly
Detroit. My only Kiss
awesome.
movie I've seen is Detroit Rock City, the one that came out in like the early aughts.
Oh man, you gotta see this movie. It's great. But so I had like posters on the wall. I was a huge Kiss fan. I had no idea they were a band, and neither did my parents because my parents were like, I grew up like Southern Baptist, so they had no idea who Kiss was either. I just thought it was like these guys in like
In this
makeup. So
Yeah.
they didn't care. They were just like, oh, it's some movie cartoon. Like,
Yeah.
So yeah, I had like Kiss posters everywhere, and then. But then, yeah, I remember like I was like, oh man, they're a band, and I went to check them out. It was like blew my mind. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that's cool. The way to get to know Kiss. You're like, oh, they're a TV show. Turns out they also have this song called "Lick It Up." It's like, oh, interesting. Okay, cool.
Love Gun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his dick is the gun.
Yeah, right. That's what I think of every time.
Yeah,
Role models, yeah.
yeah. Romas. That movie was great. Oh yeah, which was also hilarious. That like that was their thing was Kiss, where they were like super into Kiss the whole movie, and they start bringing it into the LARPing.
Yeah.
Bring back early 2000s comedies.
Yeah, that is a good movie. I haven't watched it in a long time though.
Well, okay. So when you guys were in D&D, what were your characters? What did you build?
Do you remember what you were? I was when we started the first session. I was like a heavy set because I inherited the character that I came into. I was like a heavy set. What do you call it? Like monk or something.
Yeah.
And then when we did the second session, I was like, I want to change my guy so I could like own the character. And I did a druid with like a bear.
Nice.
And my bear was named Gary Coleman, and I can't remember what my druid's. I think my druid's name was Alf. I just named him after like 80s sitcom people, you know.
What you talking about, Willis?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember what I don't remember. It was. I keep wanting to say elf, but I don't think that's right.
I feel like Elf is a pretty solid like base beginning
Yeah.
D&D.
I remember
thing.
like he was a badass man. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I would like get hit and like other people would be like dead.
Yeah,
and,
my
like,
dude would be like laying on the
Yeah,
floor.
and I always had like I would always be like one of the last ones standing. So yeah.
the version I played, my buddy Steve got it. It was the Stranger Things edition of D&D. So what it started out is like you and the kids from Stranger Things are like in the science teacher's room at school for the AV club, and then you hear something coming from the back lab, and then when you go in to check, you end up like finding a entrance portal, and you step into it, and then it brings you into the D&D world of like, Middle Earth type deal.
You kind of play as the kids or with the kids, I guess, from the show.
Yeah, sort of, kind of. Yeah,
Interesting.
Yeah, like you're like classmates of theirs, and when you
Yeah.
get pulled through the portal, and then you're hunting the Demigorgon, but it's like set up in the D&D world, so it's not like it's the Demigorgon from the show, but it might be a dragon. It might be, and you got to go
Yeah,
find
right.
it and all that shit. And it's like, all right, cool. So then that's the game, is us like going through caves trying to find the Demigorgon.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that we all our take on Dungeons and Dragons. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had fun. I like it. I would do it again.
I would too. Yeah, I don't know if I could make it something where like it's a weekly thing, but if somebody's like, "Hey, man, you want to come over on a Friday?" and
It just has to be the right group and the right circumstance, I think.
For sure.
You know? I think there's probably horror stories of like being with a group where somebody takes it too seriously or whatever, you know.
It's all the Patton Oswalt skits from Reno 911 where he's the dungeon master and then he ends up like getting stabbed.
Yeah, well, I mean, people do take it seriously, and like, I almost feel like I'm like offending somebody if I like, don't seem like super into it.
Oh no!
Like, have you ever gone karaokeing with people that are super into it?
Yeah, and I'm really
intense,
not good.
man.
Yeah, I'm really bad at karaoke, so I always slide in the back of the booth. I'm like, I gotta be pretty dinged up if I'm gonna get a mic in hand to walk up on stage. Like it's definitely not something like, let me get my first drink down and then I'm gonna go sing. No, it's we're doing shots.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't do karaoke seriously. It's not.
No,
I'm not built for it.
But people, but if you go and like people are like, they will get.
It's
they'll
always
kick your
like
ass,
the people who are like high school like theater kids and stuff like that have
yeah.
practiced singing in front of 300 people before and know what they're doing.
It's immediate red flag for me where I hear somebody go, oh, let me see if they have my song. I'm like, oh no. Now I'm in trouble. Like if this is somebody is like, I had planned out my karaoke set list, and I'm like, okay, I'm feeling some pressure.
I'm usually like pretty slow to roll. Once I get going with people that are into it, I have fun. But I'm never like the first person to pick a song.
You're
but
not.
Once you get grease the wheels a little bit and get in there with a tune, like we were in Dallas for work last year, and we did karaoke, and the first song I did was like the Stooges' "Search and Destroy," and that was like, all right, let's go. Now I'm like good to go on anything, right? So yeah, it's fun once you get going.
Yeah, the last time I did, I think I did Panama by Van Halen.
Nice.
And I threw some kicks in there.
Bold choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, all right, I got to have fun at this somehow, some way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some high chops right there.
Well, I didn't say it was good. It was just I got to loosen up. And again, I was lubricated.
Yeah, right.
They need to do like a shower karaoke because I sound pretty good.
You feel good there?
Yeah, man.
That your safe space?
That should be a show.
In the
Shower
shower karaoke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
probably is,
The
though.
Japanese had to have done this, right? I mean, this just feels
I
like
guarantee it's a show.
This is definitely a 90s, 2000s Japanese show for sure.
MXC style.
Yeah,
Right.
totally
Yeah.
MXT style. Yeah, exactly. And somebody gets hit with like a gigantic boulder if they fuck up the song.
It's like MXC meets Naked and Afraid.
Yes, perfect.
Well, now I'm going to be really disappointed this show does not exist because I really want to watch it now.
Well, it sounds like we're sitting on $1 million idea, boys.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, okay, let's transfer this. Let's get into the main show. So let's talk about buying and selling vinyl. So, Brad, for you, this is interesting because I'm guessing before you were on the selling side of this, you were on the buying side of this. Like, kind of what's your history with vinyl and how did this whole thing come to be?
I've been collecting vinyl pretty much my whole life. I got my grandmother of all people like got me into vinyl, which is funny if you knew my grandmother because she was like this like 4'5" Southern Baptist like woman from like Maysville and like it, but she had these Hawaiian records.
Oh, nice.
Really?
And then what's the song? I can't think of the song from Beetlejuice. De la Come
then me wanna
Oh, yeah,
go
it's
home.
Harry Belafonte.
Yeah.
She had a Harry Belafonte album.
Nice.
And like I loved that song so much, but more about the music, it was just like the act of like taking the vinyl out, just and like the artwork inside of the albums. It was like it was like a treasure hunt every time you open up and you find like, and I still love this about vinyl. It's like you'll find like love letters in like an old vinyl or just personal like notes about the music. But I don't know, it's like I've always collected. I probably got really serious into it probably, I don't know, 20 years ago.
I think you hit on something real big there when you were talking about like the holding and stuff. I mean, it really does hit all four of the five senses. I'm hoping people aren't tasting your vinyl, but you definitely get the touch, you definitely get the sight, the hearing, and of course just the smell.
I was gonna say, don't forget the smell.
There is definitely a smell
is
to it.
Big, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that is cool, that whole idea of like picking something out and putting something on. Luke, you and I have talked about this before, like trying to like have that kind of that mini DJ thing where like, okay, this one's coming off, what's going on next, and trying to figure that process out.
It's tactile. I mean, that's it, right?
Yeah.
You
And I'm
kinda-
way more apt of like putting on a record of something I've never heard of than I would be of like putting it on my iPhone or, it's just something about that discovery. And like, if it's an older album, just hearing that crackling and then like, what's about to happen right now? It's just a cool experience. And, not to mention like, posters, like, I have this amazing Billy Idol poster on my wall. I can't remember what album it's from. I literally had this album and this is the other cool thing I had this album for like probably 7 years, and I'd taken the record out, but I'd never like
pulled out the liner
pulled
notes
out,
or
yeah.
whatever.
And I pulled out this amazing poster that I had for like 7 years that I didn't even know about.
Just sitting on gold.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like, it's an experience that you're not going to get.
I think you make a good point in terms of like the experience of it when it comes to you are committed. It's not like you're listening to something on your phone or Spotify where you're like 30 seconds in, you're like, damn, I'm not feeling that, fast forward. Like if it's on the turntable, now we're kind of here.
You're
and
committed.
And unless I make the executive decision just to go ahead and pull the needle and then throw the thing off, like we're going to be here for a good 15 to 20 minutes. And we're going to experience this side for better or worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless you got two turntables set up with a mixer, you're pretty much going to be sitting there on each side and flipping it and listening to the whole thing, right? Which in the streaming era is not as common because people just pick the songs they want to hear, which it's cool to do too, to make playlists and things like that. But there's certainly like a different art to listening to vinyl.
Yeah, 100%. I think there is definitely something different to be said about like when you sit down to listen to vinyl and like you're trying to understand like, okay, why did they put this song here on the album? Like what and what is it leading into and what's it coming out of and how does this all connect in the way this was formatted? As opposed to again streaming services like, oh, I'm gonna grab this, I'll put this over here and I'll make my own mix. I like to do both, but definitely if I'm gonna enjoy an album from front to back, I want to listen to it on vinyl.
Yeah. Well, and sequencing, if we think about like LPs, right? Because that's where sequencing becomes a thing, just to talk about that for a minute. Because like, in the 50s, it was all singles, kind of what we do with streaming now, right? But then when the Beatles came along is kind of who always gets thrown out there as like the reason why there's sequencing on albums and full LPs that were sought out because they started doing that and so did everyone else. But then in the 70s and 80s, it was like your sequencing of album was seen as like a total package and was more thoughtfully, curated and cared for. And I think people still do that, but maybe not always to the same extent that they used to because of the way that TikTok and Spotify and things sell music now.
And the Beach Boys, Pet Sounds. I mean, that was like, that's considered one of like the first like complete, albums.
Yeah.
Maybe not before the Beatles, but like, in the U.S., I would say.
Yeah, I think you guys both bring up good points, and we are at an interesting time where is history repeating itself? Like, are we returning to the single? But then also, if you look at physical sales right now, like vinyl is leading everything else right now in terms of like if you want actual physical media, and there is starting to become this return to, you're talking off mic earlier about like the CRTVs and like vintage, like retro video games. Like people do want like a hard copy version of stuff because with streaming, it's like it can just go away. 28 days later, like it's not streaming on any streaming services right now. So like if you don't have the DVD, unless you want to pay to rent it, you can't get a hold of it.
Yeah.
The DVD is expensive too because there's only so many of them out there. I saw an article about that the other day, which I think is kind of crazy. But I've actually noticed that specifically with movies recently because not all music, but a lot of music is streaming, especially popular music. But with like movies, it switches so much that you never know where anything's going to be at, and you don't know if that service that you have is going to carry it. So movies, I think, are in like a really weird place, especially not to get too far off subject about music and movies, but like movies right now, you don't ever know. And everyone got rid of their DVDs 5-10 years ago. And so now you're like in this weird place.
But it's still huge sales. I mean, the distributor we use, like, sell DVDs, and they're expensive, man. Like you said, like, they're not cheap. I mean, even like at our price, like, they're expensive. And but they're putting like really cool, like, old movies on like Blu-ray now, and like, it's cool.
Yeah, and I think there's a want and need for that in terms of like, I know I'm pretty disillusioned with Hollywood nowadays. Like, there's not a lot of stuff that I want to see, and now I find myself looking back through time to find movies to watch. Where I'm like, oh, I never saw that. I want to check that out, And now being able to do that is great because of physical media. But yeah, without it, with streaming, you can't control what stays and what goes. I had a bummer of a conversation. I was talking to my buddy Ben, and he was a huge video game guy, and we were talking about, I was like, why I want to buy physical media for video games as well. And he's like, you do know that, like, I think he said, like, ever since the PS3, like, the disc aren't like all they're doing is just connecting to the internet and then it's downloading the game from there. He's like, there's nothing on the disc. It's just a code saying you bought the game and that now you can download the game from. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. He's like old school PS1, PS2 games. He's like, what you want them to be is what they are. You put them in, you fire them up, they'll work. He's like, but yeah, if there was ever a thing where the internet goes down, he's like, this would not load on your PS5. And I'm like, well, that's a bummer, man.
That is a bummer.
Yeah.
Well, that just made the apocalypse less,
I know.
less fun.
Guess we're
man.
all just playing like NES through PS1, or Atari through PS1, whatever.
I was already planning on sprinting towards the explosions anyways, but now I'm taking an Uber. Cause
You don't have your bunker down here somewhere that we don't know about?
Oh,
we pull this carpet up and there's a door.
Oh, no
There's
way.
only one video game I've ever been good at, and that's Galaga.
Galaga's a sick game to be good at.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd
Dude,
be
I
good. You
remember
put it in the
That game, I remember,
apocalypse.
I think it was 1984 War Games.
Oh yeah.
He's playing
yeah. Matthew
Galaga.
Broderick, yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, that's my new game. And that's like literally the only game I've ever like really known how to play, other than like Pac-Man. But yeah.
It's funny.
Well, okay, let's come back to the here and now. How did you make the jump from being on the buying side of vinyl to being on the sales side of vinyl?
Well, I tell you, I was in corporate for like 25 years, and I was just done. I was like, it was just sucking the life out of me, and I literally, it was like probably like Thanksgiving. I had spent the night at my parents because they live out in freaking Richwood. It's like 45 minutes from so I spent the night. I woke up and I thought I was having a heart attack. And I'm like, what's happening? Mm-hmm. So I went to the hospital, went to the doctor, and I had a freaking panic attack thinking about work. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm like, I was like ready to quit, and I was just gonna like find something to do. While I figured it out, and like literally at the same time, well, my buddy Nate, who owns Sessions, we've been talking about doing something for years. We've had like probably 300 business ideas.
Sure.
And I was always too chicken shit to like jump off the corporate wagon. And I'm like, you know what, man, I'm ready. And at that time, the former record store that was in the Sessions location came available. And we're like, he's like, you want to do this? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And yeah, and the rest is history.
Nice. Was that Meta Modern was there previously, right?
Is that
what it's called?
Yeah, it was I can't remember what it was, either Meta Modern or Tarek. I can't remember.
Okay.
But yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
I think I only went in there like once or twice, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I was just like, I love music. It's really all I've ever like, other than like wrestling and like, movies like that. I've always been into music since I was a kid, and it's just, I mean, it was this. You can't pass this up. So I was like, let's do it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So what's like the focus for the shop in terms of like, obviously you're into music. I'm assuming your buddy that you open it with is as well. Mm-hmm. What are you guys like? I'm sorry if I'm stepping on your toes with questions.
No. This is what you're co-hosting. And actually, that was the next question.
No, I'm thinking ahead. I got ESPN over here.
Keep it on the show. This works.
Wow.
I'm just curious, like what are you guys trying to drive in your shop in terms of like what tunes are you selling? What kind of artists are you supporting? That kind of thing. Just curious.
I don't really try to drive any specific type of music. There was like, when we bought the whole, basically all the albums with the shop. There was a ton of psychedelic stuff, which is cool. A lot of reggae.
Yeah.
A lot of like folk and classic rock. I mean, it's a nice variety of music. Yeah. And I've just really kind of tried to build on that. We have a really
new
nice
and
jazz.
used records, or is it mostly
Yeah.
new or good blend?
Yeah, we have a nice mix of new and used. you know, we also buy albums. So if you're out there, bring your old stuff in. We'd love to buy them. But no, it's all kind of intermixed. But I'm trying to build up our jazz section. I've always been into like jazz, and we had a nice selection when we first opened up. But you know, the thing about you got to think about not what you like. You got to think about what other people like as well. Trying to build up our country and bluegrass, and you know, I want people to walk in, whether you're kind of a new collector or you know you've been doing it for 30 years. I want everybody to kind of be able to find something that they want, and we have a pretty good mix of people. We have a lot of new collectors, and they're really my favorite because, you know, I can kind of use kind of my knowledge, I guess, of music and kind of directing them. But you know, they always want, you know, the classics like Pink Floyd and Fleetwood Mac, and you know, why wouldn't you? So you know, so you got to keep that stuff on hand.
Oh, for sure.
Well, people are always amazed, like. This one guy was in there with his son one day, and they were looking at Michael Jackson, and I can't remember what album it was. He's like, well, they only have Thriller on vinyl. They don't have that. I'm like, well, yeah, they do. They do, and I'll get it for you. You know, so I think people were always like amazed that like people were still putting out vinyl. You know, and really they always have. But it's kind of funny going back to what you were saying earlier, like. You know, putting out the single 45s back in the 50s. That went on until like the 90s, man. My first album was for 45 was Burning Heart by Survivor from the Rocky IV soundtrack.
Yeah, yeah.
That's which, by the way, that soundtrack rips.
Yeah.
Side note: all the Rocky soundtracks pretty much fan of. Yeah, they're all great. But yeah, I think you do bring up a great point with that question and kind of the way you're trying to answer it, where it's like. If you say something like, hey, man, I own a record shop, like people have an idea in their head what that means, but it doesn't mean that because it's the same way when people are like, oh, I own a brewery. And it's like, okay, there's so many different ways or things that could be, you know, it's like, what do you specialize in? Or like, what do you guys like what is your thing? And then, but then like you're saying, also being able to have enough of a wide appeal that you're not just like a weird niche thing where it's like, okay, well, there's a hardcore segment of people that come here for this one thing, but it's not enough to keep the lights on. We also got to make sure that we have this balance where there's you know, those things out there like the Fleetwood Macs and the Pink Floyds and stuff of that nature where we know we're going to get those sales and keep the doors open.
Yeah. You know, it's not, I don't think it's as glamorous as people think it might be. I mean, I get these kids, you know, with summer coming out, I have kids like every day coming in. Hey, are you guys hiring? You know, because they want to work in a record stop because they think it's like cool, which it is cool. It's fun. I mean, I can't think of anything else I want to do, but it's also a lot of work, man.
For sure.
And it's like, you know, it's
They think you just sit behind the desk and
listen to
BS
music
with customers and listen to music. Yeah.
Pass judgment.
Yeah.
Which I do. I do a lot of that too. But
You're also looking through Excel spreadsheets and checking databases for warehouses. That have
do I have
records
that?
you need to buy.
Yeah. How many SZA albums do I need to buy this week? Because they will all sell out. You know. So yeah, and it's like, you know, we're a newer record store, so you know we're not everybody's. We're not gonna have every new album out. We're just not.
Well, and part of the reason I asked that question initially too is like, you go to everybody's, you go to Shake It, you go to
Plaid Room.
Plaid Room. You kind of know if you're a record collector and you've been doing this for a while. Like Tank's been doing it for a while. I've been doing it for a while. You've been doing it for a while. You kind of know at each of those stores what you're going to find.
Yeah.
And like some things I know I'll find even with new releases or old or used releases. Like I'll go to everybody's for certain things and know I'll be able to find them. Mm-hmm. I'll go to Shake It for other certain things. And know I'll be able to find them. And there's overlap between those two stores and with Plaid Rim as well. Or even Torn Light, who used to be in town and left recently. But they all have kind of their own unique twist on it, right? Mm-hmm. Like if I want to get, you know, some alternative 90s, you know, garage rock kind of stuff, like Shake It's probably my best to go for that kind of stuff. Or like Discord punk or whatever. Yeah. And then if you want to get like some really good used jazz, like I think everybody's is like super underrated. That's why I asked that, because I'm like, you know, if you're selling, you know, obviously you're gonna sell your Taylor Swift records to, you know, people who want
Whoever.
that and
Yep.
Pink Floyd and stuff. But if you're trying to sell yourself to like the seasoned collector like myself or Tank, like what is the thing that you would be like, oh, we are really good at this, you know? That's kind of, I guess, what I was
Yeah, man, we have like a really nice soul funk collection. We have a lot of like experimental albums as well.
Which, especially with Torn Light leaving as a whole, it's open right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
So-
they were kind of, that was kind of the spot where I would always think of is like, where is something that sounds like Yoko Ono throwing glass at a fan? They're going to have it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we got a really nice soul. We have a really nice jazz collection as well. But you know, like I said, you know, I try to like, you know, in many ways, I'm a curator of like, you know, music, and I'm trying to like appease to, you know, obviously the people in the Oakley community.
Right.
Like we have like
That's your first customer, right? The walking customer.
Yeah, man. So, you know, I want to make sure that we have what they want. And I always ask them, we have these like cards and like, have like a wish list of what, you know, because I want to get to know what, you know, my customers are listening to. And I've really discovered, you know, bands that like I'd never heard of that through that. And it's kind of expanded my, you know.
And you guys are still relatively new, so to your point, like you're kind of figuring that out still to
Yeah.
some degree because you're learning
Yeah.
who your customer base is and who's
We
coming
are,
in every day.
yeah. But yeah, we've been open 3 months now, so we're
Yeah.
fairly new.
Yeah.
Nice. Is there anything so far that like stuff that you love for your personal collection that you don't see like selling as well in the store? Like it's something you're like, oh man, I love this, but like the people are coming in and are like, I'm not really into that thing. I'm more into this thing over here. Has that happened yet?
Yeah. Yeah, all the time. Yeah, man. But a lot of it is like kind of obscure 90s, but other like newer bands, like there's a band called Snail Mail that I'm like really into. I saw her.
Oh, she's from Baltimore, right?
I'm not sure where she's from, but
I think it was her and JPEG Mafia opened for Turnstile in Columbus when I saw them. It's like it's a female fronted rock band. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's good.
yeah,
I like
she's
her.
Great, and her new album's amazing. Honestly, it's like one of my favorite albums of the last couple of years. But nobody's even like looked at it. You know.
You play it all over the
Yeah.
speakers in the shop,
Yeah.
and people are like, "Don't say
Yeah,
what
yeah,
is this?
no,
Can
yeah.
I get a copy?" You know?
Yeah, and then like other bands, like the Cocktail Twins are like
Yeah.
one of my favorite like
Yeah, Heaven in
bands
Las
from,
Vegas,
like,
great record.
Nobody's even looked at it, you know, and I gotta like up, you know, but it's just like, you know, and there's also bands that too, like that I love, like from the 90s that people like, I'm always amazed that people have not heard of, like Concrete Blonde, like
Oh, yeah.
one of my favorite bands of all time. I'm like amazed at, so, you know, I think there's sometimes bands that like I take for granted. I think everybody knows that they don't, you know, and it's just through being fucking old that, you know, I'm starting to realize that, you know, hey, I do have some music knowledge,
Yeah.
that I just like assume everybody knows, but they don't, you know, and I'm like always like,
Unless, and especially with younger folks, right? If their parents didn't play it for them, they might not have ever come across it, right? Even
Yeah.
with the internet, where you can like learn about so much so fast,
Yeah.
and learn new bands really quickly, which is kind of what happens now. I think there's still a lot of stuff that gets overlooked. Yeah.
I think one of the best introductions for music history for a while, but it's faded out now, was the Guitar Hero and Rock Band games. Because I remember I was teaching during that time period, and I had so many students that come up to me and be like, "Oh, have you heard of this band?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, they were like out in the early 90s. They're like, I never heard of this." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, well they're good. Check this out," you know. And you would like end up having those conversations because there was something that was getting music that was older into people's ears that had never experienced it before. And now I wonder, like, how do younger people experience stuff? Because obviously streaming and I'm guessing TikTok reels and things
yeah.
like that. But it's like, how do you discover older bands? Like, how do you discover things that are bygone at this point? I don't know.
You know what's kind of interesting is there's a group called King Khan and the Barbecue Show, and it's like a band that's been around since, I don't know, like they're like a garage rock band. They've been around since like the late 90s, early aughts, and they had a separate band before that in the 90s they're from Canada, and they're like a garage punk kind of outfit. But they had this record that came out in like probably 2003 or 4 that maybe a year or two ago was all over TikTok videos and like played. You've probably heard it because of TikTok videos and Instagram reels, but like it was probably 10 or 15 years old at that point when it started just blowing up. And I'm like, dude, these guys have to be collecting a paycheck and not understanding where this is coming
Yeah.
from. You know what I mean? They're still in the industry and they're still making music, but it's just like how you can't, it's also hard to like, whereas with the old ways of doing it with like radio and things, you kind of knew what was going to get airplay and
Yes.
things like that. But with TikTok, it's like stuff can blow up out of nowhere. And I got to imagine that for like the record companies and the major labels, they're like pulling their hair out, like trying to they probably pay for plays and stuff with influencers or whatever, but it's bizarre. It's so weird to think about. I don't know.
What's that one band? They're like it's like a weird like goth Russian band where it's like da 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 da, and then it's like
Diot.
Yeah,
I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, and like, dude, that thing is all over like everywhere, and it's just like it's who, how, why? Like, I like it. It's cool, but yeah, it's definitely something I learned about just from watching, like, seeing multiple like Wednesday Addams dancing things appear in my Instagram reels.
It's a cool song. I have that record. It's sick.
Yeah, it's good.
It has like an Eastern Bloc like building on the side of it.
Yeah, it's all fucking weird looking.
What is it again?
It might be Diot. It's either Diot or there's another. It's essentially it's like a Russian post-punk band, and it's fucking sweet. Yeah. I can't. I don't think it is Diot actually. I think it's a different band I'm thinking of. But
because like, well, and that's the thing too is like if you try to look them up on Spotify, like everything's in Russian, so it's like I don't.
Molchat Doma, actually.
That's what it is. Thank you.
I just remembered it as I went to pull out my phone and look it up.
He did not cheat, folks. I can contest.
Molchat Doma. That's who it is.
Yeah, but no, you're absolutely right. It is like a weird thing. Or like, going back to our Stranger Things conversation earlier, like when Running Up That Hill, came out of nowhere last year, and it was just
Kate
like
Bush's first like #1 hit ever or something based off of Stranger Things.
Is she?
She's from the UK, yeah.
Yeah, UK, yeah. She's huge in the UK, and she still is. But yeah, that brought her back.
Yeah.
Bigger than she ever was in the, I think, 80s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was around the 80s. Late 70s is when I think she got started. You know her story about how she got started?
No.
I think she was like 16 or something like that when she wrote her first tune, which was Wuthering Heights, I'm pretty sure. She was young. She was under the age of 20, I'm pretty sure. But her family friend was David Gilmour from Pink Floyd, actually. This is like the thing I've heard.
Good family friend to have.
And he like heard her song, like singing it or playing it or whatever one time. He's like, that's pretty good. We should record that. And like helped her get, into the industry and start doing stuff. And the cool thing is that, I think she's really awesome and interesting. And she never like sacrificed any of that weirdness that she had. Like all of her records are totally unique and bizarre and like just great. So I don't know. That's an aside.
That's cool.
Yeah, she's cool though.
What about we kind of talked earlier about like what kind of vibe you're trying to set at the shop in terms of like music and the stuff you're selling. How about the physical side of the shop? Like when you and the guy that you work at the shop with, like how did you decide like here's what we want it to look like, this is the stuff we want on the walls? Like how do you approach that?
Basically Nate, the owner of the shop, was basically I want the shop to be your apartment.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, I'm like a weird collector. I've like I'm a huge like vintage like collector.
You're in the right place.
yeah. So I spend like all my off days at St. Vincent de Paul, and like, well, now yard sales coming up in the.
Oh yeah, 'tis the season.
Yeah. So I've always been a huge collector. My grandfather kind of got me into that. He was very. It's funny. He was. I almost said he's eccentric, but he wasn't. He was like a very kind of proper kind of John Wayne character, but like he loved weird stuff. Like it was a really kind of. So I grew up was like. I remember when I was younger, we'd go, and some old woman would die, and we'd go, and he'd buy the whole inside of everything in her house.
Damn.
And we'd take his like old Silverado and load it up, take it back, and he had a barn, kept all that stuff in the barn. But like, I just grew up with that stuff. Like, I had like 3 pinballs in my bedroom when I was like a kid, and I just always like I've always been like really interested in like old technology. Like, I still like collect VHS tapes.
Yeah.
I just like got rid of my Laserdisc collection, and it killed me. But I needed room,
Yeah.
I had like I was running out of space. But now every time a Laserdisc comes up on Facebook Market, I like want to buy it.
Well, you're definitely amongst friends here because I am with you on this. I'm a huge fan of Dead Tech. I love all the stuff that like I grew up on, and even though it's not the modern technology I use today, it's like it's still stuff I love. I have like a mixtape tattooed on me. I have a VHS tape tattooed on me. I have tattoos of like an iPod. Just like all this shit that like is just part of my experience of being on the planet and stuff that I worked with as I went through it. Like,
Yeah.
it's really cool. And again, we talked, you kicked off with the talk of ritual. All those things have rituals that come with it. Like the ritual of making a mixtape or the ritual of rewinding a VHS tape and all that kind of stuff. It's just, it's burned in my memory, and it's just a core memory stuff for me that I love and make me the person who I am.
Yeah, just that sound of like opening up a cassette tape. It's like a very unique, and putting it in the tape deck, just like that. I've never heard it called Dead Tech before. I kind of like that. But yeah, I love so to get back to your question, I just wanted it to feel like my living room, basically.
Comfortable.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we got a
yeah.
little lounge area in the front with like a couple record players, so you can like grab a used album. If you want to listen to it before you buy it, you can do that.
You have headsets there or
We
whatever.
have
to throw
headphones,
'em on.
yeah.
Perfect.
Or like we even have people bring in records. Like last, I think Friday night, and this is like one thing that I love. Like we had a couple get proposed.
I saw that
Nice.
on Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. And just in the short time we've been open, we've had some like really cool like experiences there that like, and they happen every day. It's like the kid buying like the first album, or you get families like getting their first turntable, and like that's cool. I love like that's really what I love about what I do. It's just sharing the experiences like with people that you normally wouldn't. But yeah, it's just a very kind of chill environment. Like I said, we have the kind of little lounge area. I got a lot of plants. We got a lot of cool art on the wall. I want to like celebrate like basically everything, like art, and like I want people like if they have art they want to put on the wall, I'd love to like hang it. Just people can like discover. But it's a very chill environment.
I think comfort's king. I like that. I like that you're one of the first things you were out there was just like make it hospitable, make it where you can sit down, you can listen to stuff and just chill. I think Nate's got a good idea there in terms of like, how to approach making that space. Cause you definitely want a place where people feel they can kind of hang out and linger, especially something at a shop like a record store where it's like, hey man, more time you're probably here, chances are you're going to pick up something, you're probably going to grab something else.
Yeah.
Luke, if you were on the this side of the table, if you were creating a record store, do you have an idea of what yours would look like?
Oh shit. I've never actually thought about that. Funny enough.
See, isn't that the weird part about being on this side of it? Is like it's just something you never consider. You're just like, I don't know, man. I just go to them and I buy shit.
But I mean, probably like what you're saying is probably smart though, to have a space where you can. It feels comfortable. It feels second nature. I never really thought about it in the sense that like some kid could be coming in and buying their first record from you on any given day, and so then you think back to like. The first album I ever bought with my own money was The Clash, London Calling, and I remember that vividly to this day, doing that, right?
Solid first album.
And it's like, yeah, that could be somebody's first record, could be in your place, so you need to make it feel welcoming, probably. So I think if I had to design a space, I'd probably think of that as well.
Yeah, we have like we do a lot of with 16 lots. They've been really generous to us. Like they've like given us beer. Initially we were gonna get our liquor license and sell. But as we kind of got into it, we're like, I'd rather just have it and just give it away. Like, when we do events, there's just too many stipulations that if you have like your liquor license, you can't do. Like if you have a live band, which we want to get more into that. But, you know, if you have your liquor license, people can't like,
Right.
you know, pop it open and drink. So, but yeah, we have like beer, we have like kind of vodka drinks, and you can just grab one while you're, you know, I just want people to feel like at home and like you're browsing through someone's like record collection.
Yeah.
I think it's a great way to put it, man. I definitely think that's the way to do it. Like making people just feel relaxed and chill, like they're not in an environment. It's like, hey, you're gonna buy something, you're gonna leave. And it's like, no, man, just come in, just hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Some of
think
the
it's
worst
really important.
experience too I've had in record stores, like that I definitely did not want to be in our store, is like feeling judged for what, you know, what you buy. You know, I'm not going to say any names, but I've been in record stores where like, you know, if I bought Striper, are you going to give me a weird look?
Right, right.
You know, if I buy that, you know, it's like, you know, people like what they like, man. I have a huge you know, variety of music that I like to listen to. But yeah, I want people to feel safe and like they can come in and, you know,
Spend their money.
Spend their money. And yeah, but you know, they shouldn't feel judged on what they're buying. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. Because there is that like stereotype of the gatekeeper like record store thing where it's like you come to the counter with something you're super excited about, and the guy at the counter is like, "Oh, Green Day, huh? Cool." You know,
Right.
and it's just like, "Oh, I've," you know, and you're like a 10-year-old, and you're like, "I just heard these guys," and it's like, "All right, well, when you take your training wheels off, maybe some listen to a real punk band," you know, and it's like, yeah, you don't want that. That's not what anybody wants to have for their experience.
No, no.
But yeah, but it's definitely one of those things that like is sometimes a stereotype. So I think it is cool that you're like, no, we're on the opposite of that. We're like, hey man, come in, hang out, buy what you want, get what you want, and just make sure you're comfortable the whole time you're
music
here.
is like a very personal thing. You know, it's
There's
like,
so much of it.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like you love what you love, but you're also like, you know, it's very nostalgic too. You might love like, I'll give you an example. Again, I grew up in a very kind of religious family, Baptist. Like the most rocking album in my house, like growing up, was the Letterman. You probably don't even know who the Letterman are. They're kind of like a white doo-wop band from like the 70s, I guess. But it's just something about that band. It's like nostalgic to me.
I just like the fact that they're basically like the varsity football guys. They're the Letterman.
They are, yeah, they are.
They got
Yeah.
the Letterman jackets on.
Yeah, and if you see,
Hell yeah.
you pull up pictures, that's exactly what they look like.
Perfect.
As well, yeah. But yeah, it's just, you know, music is very personal. Same way as movies, you know. It's like, you know, it's kind of like the DNA of who you are, you know. It's like, and you know, you can like listen to like Lionel Richie and Fugazi, you know,
Yeah.
and there's nothing wrong with that, you know.
Totally. Or ABBA and Minor Threat, you know, whatever. But
Yeah,
I
man.
think that's interesting too, because in this day and age, again, like with the internet being such a big thing, there's so much voice out there going, you know, people talking about, you know, their favorite records, their favorite movies, whatever, and like giving voice to what their personal opinion is. And I think a lot of times people get caught up in like the disagreement of that and like arguing why, like saying like, oh, that's not right. Like this is the whatever. And at the end of the day, like I think people forget to like kind of just enjoy it and like think, oh, this is a person's opinion. Like, why do they think this? You know, and realizing that their dissenting opinion doesn't make them more right or more wrong, you know? I don't know.
I think we're also seeing just so much more crossover of genre now, because like it used to be things were very defined. It was like, you know, in the 80s, it's like hip hop was this and it was Run DMC, and metal was that and that was Motley Crue. You know, it was like things were very, you could tell where the lines were. And now today, everything gets really blurry. I mean, you got stuff like fucking Little Peep, which is like emo and trap rap together, but somehow this works. Or stuff like Gridiron, where it's hardcore, but they also have a DJ that's scratching records while they're playing. Like there is just this modern generation of people in music, because of the internet, because of the access to music now. There's just so much stuff where everything's just kind of blending together, and you can take something from over here and a little something from this, and let's grab this over here, and boom, make a whole new thing, and people are accepting of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exactly right. It's just, you know, and I do think, yeah, I think TikTok, if it's done anything, it's kind of, and like you were talking about Kate Bush, like these songs coming back into the forefront is like people are, there's a lot of different avenues that people can discover
Yeah.
new
Well,
music.
and I think I think a lot of people get scared of TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and technology driving taste making, right? And like I think though, like people are discovering Kate Bush per se, for instance, and they're saying, oh, like I want to listen to more of this, and if they're into records, they're going to go pick up a copy of one of her records at your store, right? And so there is like, I think maybe not a one-to-one reciprocation between that, but people are being reintroduced to the format through like TikTok and things like that in interesting ways. I don't know. I think technology is like obviously always shunned when it first starts to change the way people think about art. But, over time we start to realize like, oh, this is actually, it can be good for it. It's not always good,
But I think it's like good for vinyl because I think people like kids that are now like really they're interested in, they find, what do you call it? Dead tech? Is that what you call it? They just find that fascinating, cassette player,
Yeah.
something you have to physically like, that, I think that has a lot to do with vinyl being strong as it is. I think it's like in a world of like digital technology, there's something sexy about vinyl that people are always gonna go back to.
It's a thing that shows importance, and it's a status thing on some level, but it's also like a care thing on another thing. It's like, it's one thing to enjoy something where you stream it, but when you physically own it, that's a different level of having it, because now it's in your house and it's something that you can use whenever you want to. And even when it's not in use, you still maintain it.
Yeah.
You still have it in the
It's a
collection.
part of you.
Yeah.
It's like an indicator. Like I care enough about this band or this artist to want to support them by owning a piece of what they do, right?
It's like having a big ass library with a whole bunch of books.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, hey, I read this thing and it was
Yeah.
really good and I kept it,
Yeah.
as opposed to selling it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think too, like, it's just like, I think people, and I find this like with people who've been collecting for a while, is like, it's just the being open to like discovering like new bands that you've never heard of and
Yes.
putting it on. And I think you can like, and maybe it's an age thing. I don't know. I'm old as fuck, but I can like appreciate like, I hear a sound that like is interesting to me, and I might not have ever heard the band. I might not even love the whole album, but there's like pieces of it that on a good like system like you got here, it sounds amazing.
I'm going to speak for us real quick, because we're on the same team here. Sure. Argue with me if I'm speaking out of turn for you. I never want to stop discovering music. I like, it scares me, the fact of like getting stuck in a decade. Like that terrifies me, because I definitely met people that like, you get into their car and they're like, all I listen to is like from like 1985 to 2005, and it's just like, all right, man, like, but there's like so much more out here. It's like, nope, this is when I was in high school or in college, and this is when I was into music, and then I just kind of faded out, and this is what I just listened to. And I'm like, I can't do this. I always like, there's stuff I love, and there's stuff that I've listened to for over 30 years now, or some bands even 40 years now I've listened to, but I always want to keep discovering new stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it does take effort, right? And so, like, I think there's a lot of reasons why people stop discovering new music. It does seem like a lot of people, it's either as soon as high school ends or as soon as college ends, or they have their first kid. Because once you start to introduce like job and child and other, house and other things
Responsibilities,
like that,
adult.
responsibilities of being an adult, like what is one of the first things to go? It's like your focus on these ancillary like hobbies or interests. And so if music is not one of your most important interests, say you're more of like an NFL guy, like you're going to focus on the football instead of, picking up new tunes. And I know so many people, like you said, I know so many people who they're like, yeah, I haven't really listened to anything new in, 5 or 10 years or 15 or even 20 years, and, you have to make an effort.
When people tell me there's no good bands out there, and I'm just like, well,
It's a wild statement.
It is.
It's incorrect. I mean, there are good bands out there.
Amazing bands, and like I'm just like blown away. Like
there's probably a band, whoever this person is theoretically that's saying this, like there's probably a band. Pick your favorite band. There's probably a band that loves that band and sounds a lot like them and makes stuff similarly, or an updated, more interesting, different version of maybe not interesting, but like just does the same sorts of things really well, right? You're just not seeking it out, so you're not finding it.
Well, and then let's compare it to something like Rocky 3, where it's like you have Rocky who stick with me,
this
guys.
is what-
I'm here for it.
stick
I'm here
with
for
me.
it.
This is why I wanted to be on this podcast, by the way, because anytime you have a transition to Rocky 3,
You're in for it.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Hell yeah,
man.
dude. Well, yeah, because so like Rocky 3 is kind of like you got Sylvester Stallone, who is Rocky at this point with like 10 championship fights, and he's doing the same thing over and over again. It's great and everybody loves him, but you've kind of seen it. It's whatever. Clubber Lang is like a pissed off, angry, fast punk band that's on the rise. Like he's not like he's really living the deal every night. He's putting his heart and soul out on the stage, as opposed to Rocky, who's kind of like, they didn't have green M&Ms in the back. I'm gonna, my voice is kind of scratchy. I'm gonna kind of lean off a little bit tonight, guys. No, Mr. T's bringing it every fucking time he stands out there.
Yeah, but Clubber Lang didn't have Mickey looking out for him, man.
That's true. Mickey was smart. Mickey did realize that Clubber Lang was a destroyer, nothing to fuck with.
Yeah.
So yes, but that is kind of thing. It's like how I just can't imagine the idea of like not looking to do bands, because you're always going to have somebody who's younger, faster, hungrier. It's coming up that has new things to say.
Well, I think you made a good point. Like, it's like I think people like. You can kind of tell when they have kids, because that's when their music knowledge drops off the cliff, But unless you're like a music lover, like you can tell like when they graduated from college, because they're listening to that those bands that were popular when they were in college. But like for somebody who loves music, it's for me, it's like I've never stopped, discovering like new band, but you have to put some effort into it.
Well, let me ask you, how does this work? So with you and like Nate ordering stuff for the shop, I mean, there's no way you guys can listen to every album that you guys order. Like, how do you figure out what to bring in? Like, is there your own personal taste, and then is there somebody that's like, hey, by the way, this is kind of hot right now, maybe you should grab some of those? Or is there a way to discover trends? Like, how do you figure out what it is that you buy on shipments?
I mean, I listen to people who come in, asking, do you have that? And I'll go and listen to it. I do. I listen to music a lot, just to like keep myself up to kind of speed on. But no, there's no way you can like listen to everything, and there's no way I'm going to be able to have, it like literally when somebody comes in and asks me for something and I don't have it, like I literally like, it's like daggers to my heart. And I instantly want that in my shop. But you can't, we can't. We can't. We just we don't. Well, we don't have the space for one thing.
I mean, yeah.
Eventually we will. But
yeah, I mean, even like Amoeba Records doesn't have the space for everything. It's like at some point you can't house it all underneath one roof.
But I listen to a lot of music, and just trying to kind of keep up on like bands. But I mean, it's a lot of times it's like bands that I've discovered and I love, and I'll put in the shop. But it's just kind of listening and kind of keeping kind of your ear to the ground on what's coming out, what people like. But yeah, there's like, I'm never gonna have everything that, because it's too much.
Yeah,
Totally.
I think that kind of goes back to your question earlier too, about like, hey, what do you want your shop to be known for? Because that is the thing. It's like your own personal taste has to come into this on some level, just because it's like there's just stuff that you can't possibly know about. Like there's just, especially with like the subgenres of subgenres that we see now today in modern music. I mean, there's just so much stuff where it's like, oh fuck, I didn't even know that exists. I just learned about bimbo core today. I had no clue. There's some band called Scene Queen, where it's like this chick that's playing punk that like she calls herself bimbo core, and like
Bimbo, like Bimbo.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like all the songs are, it's basically, it's like rap. It's kind of got like a Peaches vibe, like in terms of like the lyrical quality. So like all the songs are like about like eating pussy, but then it's like her rapping on top of punk beats.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this exists in the world. I had no clue until 12 hours ago.
I just imagine that person listening to that, passing that album off to their grandkids when they're like,
Oh, 100%.
That I just like. I wish I could be around.
That is the weird
that.
future we were coming into
Yeah.
with super sexualized music, and then eventually you're like 60 and you're singing songs about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like the Rolling Stones were singing sex lyrics
Oh,
back in the
100%.
60s, so.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, man, yeah, it is kind of a weird thing because I guess that does kind of happen to everybody, right? Like you age, and so like what once was sexy, now it's like a 60-year-old guy singing. You're like, ah, man, it's not sexy anymore.
Yeah, Mick Jagger's not really a good-looking dude.
Yeah, I always like the bands that wear makeup or mask, where it's like you can be an ICP or Slipknot for the rest of your life, and nobody knows you ever age. You're just consistently kind of like Kiss. Like you just couldn't tell Kiss was aging. It was just like, no, they always wore armor and makeup and shit. And as long as they kept the hair, like
Until they did the record where they wiped all the face paint off. And
then yeah,
Yeah.
that was the difference maker.
I saw Kiss on their last tour, and they're still killing it, man.
Nice.
But they're also using chairs, and you got
they
bad.
got their walker out there.
Yeah, you got bad backs, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care how nice your tour bus is, you're still traveling.
Yeah.
You're still making that jump in between town. And if you got more money, you can make that more easy on yourself. But even then, it's still rough.
I don't know what Gene Simmons is worth, but like he's got to be worth so much money, and I don't understand why that guy even wants to tour at this point. You know, they're not making new records. They're not touring for new records.
I think it's like a drug, man. It's like
it must be.
Yeah.
I just it's like going back to like wrestling, man. These guys that like are still. I mean, money
Beyond the mat, man.
Yeah, man. Like
Hell
these
yeah.
guys are just like in their 60s and they're still
Jake the Snake,
wrestling, man.
Ric Flair.
Ric Flair.
It's
yeah.
just a drug that you don't want to stop. It's just you love it so much.
I mean, it's got to be wild to walk out in front of like 10,000 people and they all scream your name.
Yeah.
Like that's got to feel insane because like your monkey brain's not built to do that. Like I mean, the idea of like more than 10,000 people knowing who you are is like,
Your brain says, "Witness me."
Yeah.
It sprays silver paint into his face.
And I'm sure like, after coming off like just being in front of thousands of people screaming your name, loving you, and then stopping, it's got to be kind of a lonely world, man,
Yeah, no, that also has to be true too. I always call it the there's like the weird level of fame of so like in pro wrestling, like indie pro wrestling guys that like they do like a show in front of 300 people and they're famous for the 300 people inside of that room, but then they go across the street to a Subway to get a sandwich. Like nobody at the counter knows who the fuck they are.
Right.
And like same thing with like stand-up comedy. Like people, like I've seen like national touring acts that like do go bananas and then I'm able to like talk to them at the bar next door, and it's just because of the level that they're at. Like they're not playing theaters yet, so you can still have access to them. Be like, hey man, that was like a good show. Like I got to meet like Tom Segura that way. There's no way in hell I'm getting anywhere near Tom Segura today. His security would instantly, spear me 10 feet out from him.
Yeah.
But having that access on a smaller level is something where it's like, oh, this is cool.
I remember I was at a Comic-Con with Madak one time and met Mick Foley.
Nice. He's a nice dude.
Oh, super nice guy, man. But that was like, that was like the highlight. That was it. Just meeting him and getting a picture with him. That was cool. But I think money is part of it, but too, I think it's just like, it's hard. It's a hard thing to like come down from unless you're like, I think, comedians, musicians, and any artist, we're all fucked up in the head.
Yeah.
None of us are happy. We're not truly happy, unless we're like, doing,
I agree with that
unless
statement.
you're like really like, just good with where you're at in life, which a few people are.
Yeah.
It's hard to like just stop.
I think like maybe like Morrissey might be okay with himself where he's like, all right, you know what? I am the greatest in his own head, but for most of us, I agree with what you're saying. We're like, to have that, it's like, how do you turn that
Morrissey
off?
doesn't need his fans telling him how great he is.
No, he has that conversation in his brain every day.
Yeah, he knows it.
Well, what about this? How have you had the experience Record Store Day yet? And what's that like being on your side of the counter?
So we did not do Record Store Day. You had to have your order back in like November, which was before we even opened. But we had that was a very busy weekend. I mean, people still came
And
in the
supported
shop.
regardless, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's almost like a holiday now. Like,
It
people
really
like-
is.
Yeah, yeah, it truly is. But we're gonna do it next time. But it's it's like you don't really know what you're gonna get. It's kind of a crapshoot.
It is like a
And
box
what
of
you're gonna sell
chocolates.
too, frankly.
And yeah, so
And you're kind of like, it's interesting because if you get stuck with things from Record Store Day, then after Record Store Day, it's got a date on it for like 2023,
Yeah, it's just-
Right.
2022, and now it's going to sit and it's like stock
Yeah,
that somebody
yeah.
might buy if they're a fan, but
if
you
it
don't-
didn't sell the first 3 hours,
Right.
it's probably not gonna sell.
right.
But
So it's hard because you don't want to overdo it, but you also need to like do enough.
yeah, and plus, like a new
Yeah.
store like us, I could break.
No,
I
no
could
doubt.
break a new record store because you're kind of at the mercy of what
people buy.
100%. Yeah, you go in heavy on Record Store Day, and then it doesn't have the turnout you expect.
Well,
You're
not
like,
only what people buy, but like you don't really know what you're gonna get. It's kind of
yeah,
like a
sure.
lottery system. So
Yeah, well, and especially now with like Record Store Day, like it is really like kind of some weird stuff that they're putting out. Like I can't think of a Record Store Day in the past few years or like anything. So I'm like, oh my god, I got to get this. It's always like just kind of weird stuff. Where I'm like, I guess I would like that live album. That'd be okay. But
Yeah.
there's
It's
nothing.
it's
that's, like-
interesting because I think it's weird, but not the right direction. Like, because I would take more, sort of esoteric bands or more like regional stuff being put out. I think it'd be really cool if they did like a reissue series that was like regionally based, where you get a band from Indianapolis and they send that record to the stores around that area, or from Columbus, and like people in Cincy and Cleveland get it and Columbus get it. But it's weird. It'll be like September 2nd, 1982, live, whatever, Bruce Springsteen or
Yeah.
something. It's like, who asked for this?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but like, I like Bruce Springsteen, but like, I don't need another Bruce Springsteen reissue.
they're still putting out. I mean, the list gets shorter and shorter. There was like Bobby Bear Jr. I don't know if you know him, but his first album, Bear Jr. Butte, came out on vinyl, and I've never seen that. I don't know if it even ever came out on vinyl, but that was something that I really wanted. And like the one before that, Show, The Cure, their live album came out. That's an amazing album. But other than that, you get a lot of kind of garbage that's coming out. I don't know.
It's hard because you have to. They have to appeal. I mean, it's very difficult to talk about because they have to appeal to a wide swath of people that want to go to these stores and buy stuff. But at the same time, the whole point of the event from the get-go is to support independent local record stores and musicians, right?
I think
Right.
it's kind of gone a little astray on that. It's
I agree, and
Kind
that's
of
kinda
money,
why I
more of
say
like a
that.
money
Yeah.
grabbing
I agree.
Yeah.
than it used to be. But
Yeah, I think it was one of those things where like in the place and time when they started it was a good idea, but the longer it went on and the way things have now changed with vinyl and the comeback of it, it's like that has evolved as well. And it's not as special as what it once was. Now it's just kind of like, all right, man, like this is a thing that happens, and it's cool.
There's
that it
still cool
exists.
records that come out.
Yeah.
But it's just I feel like there used to be more. The most recent one that I can think of that was a record that when I saw they were releasing it, I was like, wow, that's really cool. Is there's this artist from the 70s named Robert Lester Folsom, who is like all his albums are like private press, so it means that he made 500 of them and released them himself, not on a label, right? And so they're impossible to find for any kind of reasonable cost. But they repressed that and put that out. I thought that was really cool and interesting. And it's a cool record, but I don't feel like there's that many of those that come out, anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm waiting for. I can't believe we haven't had the Tool Anemia Day yet. Like we're like that album is still not getting reissued, and I'm like, at some point, possibly for Record Store Day, why would they not? But it hasn't happened yet. So.
I mean, they got to have big name artists in there, but I do feel like the day should, at its heart, elevate things that are less heralded or harder to find. And I just feel like it gets away from that a lot. To your point.
yeah, I think it's really just and like you got the people buying stuff and it's going on eBay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
that's
scalpers.
that's a whole other thing that chaps my ass. Yeah, I hate that in any type of collection world where people just immediately go in to buy something not because they care for it, but they know the resale value of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That fucking angers me.
Discogs, going on Discogs and selling a cassette tape or a record for like $2,000 is
Yeah,
stupid.
not a fan.
It's
Not a
crazy.
fan. Well, okay, let's do this. So you talked earlier about buying used records. What's it like? Like, is this where do you go into? Oh shit! What was the show on A&E where they were in Las Vegas and they would buy stuff from
Pawn
people?
Stars?
Pawn Stars. Yes. Is it like Pawn Stars? How does this work?
It's interesting. It's like one of my favorite things to do. I mean, I love seeing stuff come in, but a lot of it is like people think it's valuable, and you have to like.
Let them down.
You kind of have, yeah. You gotta be like, and then, but the hardest part too is like somebody who their parents passed away, and this is their like parents, their dad, their dad or their mom's record collection, and it's like it's very personal to them, and
they're Barbara Streisand records that
or
40
Jim
million
Neighbors,
copies were-
Big Band, like Lawrence Welk kind of stuff.
Lawrence Welk, stuff that got millions and millions of copies pressed that are totally worthless because there's just
and like I have to tell them that
there.
it's not worth anything, and it's like that's the hardest part is like trying to they think they have like a gold mine on their hand and they don't, but it's fun for me. Like I love getting like used stuff because I'll take it home and I'll clean it and I'll listen to it, stuff that I like, and it's cool. Like I love having that. I'd love to have the story of that album.
Yeah, where it's
if you
been
knew the
before it got to
story,
you.
where it's been before. And like I said earlier, just you find like crazy stuff in those old albums, like letters and
A pot leaf that's been flattened out.
I was gonna say sticks and seeds.
You never, literally, like you have no idea, like what I found like cigarettes and all kinds of like stuff and like.
What's your? We can go around the horn here. What's your favorite used record you've picked up recently? If you have one, I'll go first since I asked. And I'll give you a second to think about it.
Right.
You too, Tank. My favorite is I got a copy of a record from the early '90s from a Columbus band called Boys from Nowhere. The Bridal Album is the name of the record, and it's sort of if you know like John Spencer Blues Explosion, it's sort of in that kind of vein, like that garage punk sort of inflected stuff. But it has a cover of a Mike Rep, who is a like 70s, 80s, well, really through current day, like musician in Columbus, has a cover of his song Rocket to Nowhere, which is like a total killer rock and roll tune. And I've wanted it forever and ever, and I finally found a copy of it and was ecstatic to get it for like $20. But yeah, that was my recent pickup.
There's a soul artist called Neil Francis. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's kind of soul, like awesome, like really just amazing. Like he has this new album called Francis Alive, kind of like Frampton Alive, but it's just really cool, like soul music, and like he's a younger guy. He's like probably in his 20s, I don't know, but just really cool. That came in recently, and I've been like listening to it like pretty much nonstop.
Nice.
And if it doesn't sell soon, I'm probably gonna end up in my personal collection.
Nothing wrong with that. You got something where it's like you had your shot. Now it's coming home to me.
Yeah, I'll give it a few days.
Yeah, I'll give you a chance. It's in the water, but nobody's biting. All right, it's mine. The last thing I got used was Jailbreak by Thin Lizzy.
Oh hell yeah!
Which I mean, come on,
Classic.
now.
Yeah, can't go wrong with Thin Lizzy.
Yeah, you can't run with Thin Lizzy.
That's one of those like, if you're a new collector, you gotta have Thin Lizzy in your collection.
What's your favorite Thin Lizzy record?
Probably that one.
Yeah,
I think mine's probably Johnny the Fox. That record is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people know that he's Irish.
Yeah.
Yes.
Irish band, crazy.
Yeah.
Because
There's
when you
there's a statue of Phil Lynott in Dublin, I think, right?
Yeah, because when you listen to him, man, he does not sound Irish.
No.
This is not the Cranberries.
No, it's very not Dolores O'Riordan.
Yeah, when you listen to her, man,
Yeah, very
she-
much so.
She's Irish.
Yeah, very
But
much.
yeah, I mean, he kind of got that. I don't know. He's just kind of got that Jimi Hendrix kind of sound. Like it's cool. I love
He's a great rock
me
vocalist
some
for
Thin
sure.
Lizzy, man.
And then two I got before that. I got this at a secondhand shop when I was visiting my niece's nephew over Christmas. We went out and I bought the best of ZZ Top and the Rocky 3 original motion picture soundtrack.
That's
Oh,
why
hell
Rocky
yeah.
3 is on the mind,
found that?
man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Hey man, I mean, again, I love Rocky and I love the soundtrack. So
I don't know if I have Rocky 3. I have the original.
I bought the
I'm a-
original for a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
you guys buy a lot of soundtracks?
I love
Yeah.
soundtracks. Yeah.
I do. Okay. I want to, but the ones that I want, I just have not found the price yet. I really want to get the Crow soundtrack. I love the Crow soundtrack. Fucking Stone Temple Pilots, Pantera, the Crow. The Cure.
Henry Rollins.
Yeah, Trent Reznor. Like it's a
Great.
solid soundtrack, and I also
Yeah.
really like Songs in the Key of X. That was the X-Files soundtrack they did, where it was music inspired by the show.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, that's a really awesome soundtrack as well. So yeah, I'm a sucker for a soundtrack, especially older stuff. I love picking them up.
Yeah, and like now that shit's getting expensive. Like, I mean, I have stuff that like, 10 years ago you could pick like, like
Star Wars
Back to the
soundtrack.
Future soundtrack
Star
for
Wars,
like,
Star Wars used to be a 99-cent bit
yeah,
soundtrack, and now it's
yeah,
$10.
There's albums that I have that I've paid like $2 for that are now worth like $50. It's crazy, man. Like
Yeah.
stuff that you, like would have never thought that would like.
True. My only thing, I don't get a lot of like sound. I get a lot of soundtracks, but most of what I focus on in the soundtrack realm is like 60s like sword and sandal type movies. So 50s, 60s, maybe early 70s sword and sandals. So
Well, I
like
love scores.
Spartacus and
Yeah, like
Lauren,
like scores.
yeah,
Scores
score,
are
yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
Like a lot of Bernard Herrmann scores. I really enjoy those. Those are really cool.
I like the thing Mondo has done where they've started to make like re-releasing soundtracks on vinyl, and they get like really cool artists to do the cover and stuff in the back. I think that's a cool way to do it,
Yeah.
where you're combining like the original score but also adding in excellent art elements, and that scratches both those itches for
They
me.
also, I don't know if they've done this a ton of times, but so like, that the late 90s through the early to mid aughts, when kind of vinyl took a break in there, CDs had totally taken over, and then MP3s took over, and there was like not really a whole lot of vinyl being pressed in that time period. And they took some of those movies from that time period and have put them on vinyl that weren't previously available, right? So the one that comes to mind is Josie and the Pussycats. Do you know that movie?
yeah.
Which has like a really interesting, it's a great soundtrack. It's so Adam Schlesinger, who's one of the guys from Fountains of Wayne, who also did That Thing You Do.
This was the newer Josie and the Pussycats with what's her name that was super hot. That was the
Tara Reid and Rosario Dawson.
Dawson, but
yeah.
who was the head one?
I know, I can't remember her name.
She was
Yeah.
in the thing with She's All That.
Yep,
Or
yep.
wait, was she Princess Leia? Not Princess Leia. The Professional.
Wasn't she in like a 90s?
Queen Amidala.
No,
is
you're
it
thinking
her?
of
Natalie
Keira
Portman.
Knightley.
No, not Keira Knightley.
Natalie Portman. It wasn't
Natalie
Natalie
Portman.
Portman.
No, it's not Natalie
It wasn't
Portman.
Portman.
It was
No,
like
Natalie Portman. Keira Knightley was Natalie Portman's double in. As
wasn't
Queen
she in
Amidala.
like
They're-
one of those TV shows like that kind of got famous?
I
like,
think so.
What was
I can't remember her name. He's looking it up.
I'm on it. I'm young Jamie.
But anyway,
wasn't she in like the Scream movies?
she might have been. I don't remember. But they put that record. They put out all those songs. What is it?
Rachel Lee Cook.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, that's not who I
knew
was
it was like a
thinking of at all.
3-part name. I couldn't- God. But they put out that whole album of songs, and it's pretty cool.
I'll tell you a soundtrack that I really, if anybody in the music industry is out there that can make this happen, I want the Point Break soundtrack.
Hell yeah, dude.
On vinyl.
Utah, give me 2.
Yeah. That is like one of my favorite soundtracks.
What a great movie.
And what a great movie, yeah.
Wait, what was
Don't
this?
even get me started on the remake.
Wait, what? I'm trying to remember the music from this. Like, what was it? Was it like cheesy '80s '90s music, or like what was going on here?
Man, you have to pull. Well, it was like no, like it had metal. It was God, I'm totally blanking.
Aren't Anthony Kiedis and Flea?
They
in the
are.
movie? Aren't
Yes,
They're in the movie,
They're,
yeah.
they're surf Nazis.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
I thought. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but I remember.
Oh.
Nobody rides for free.
Yeah, by Rat.
Rat, yeah.
L.A. Guns, Concrete
LA Guns.
Blonde.
Ooh, LA
Concrete
Guns.
Blonde.
Yeah,
Yeah,
LA
yeah.
Guns.
Yeah, it's a great fucking soundtrack.
Shark Island.
Ooh, I don't know.
I don't know Shark Island. Cheryl Crow's in the 10 spot with hundreds of tears. Like she's the final thing on the album.
All right.
I mean, she's punk, man.
Sheryl Crow.
All right, let's do this. Let's jump to the other side. So when you're not buying records, you're selling used records. What's that like? Like, do people ever try to haggle with you over there? Or are they always like, hey, you want this? Can I give you this? Or are they like, I looked at this and there's a scratch? Like, how does that work?
No, I mean, I try to be fair. I mean, it's like, but like I said, the hardest part is like telling people that what they think is $1 million is not,
Right.
Yeah.
But no, I try to be fair, but I have to like have like, I'm reselling this album as well, so I can't give you. And then people come in, they want
You can't give them full price because you
No.
got to sell it at that price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm also saying is like the people that are now buying them, like do people ever try to haggle that end of it? Where like
buying the record.
yeah, where like they pick up something, they see it's $20 and they're like, oh, I see you put 20, but what would you do 15? Or there's a scratch, or does that ever come up? Because personally I've never done that, but I know, but I'm just,
People will come up to me and they'll be like, "Is this price based on the condition?" And it's based on what the album is, and it's based on the condition as well. And that too takes a lot of time because you got to clean it, you got to grade it, and it's like, I'm not taking stuff that I'm getting in and putting it right on the floor. I have to clean it and sometimes listen to it. If like there's some questionable, a lot of times I'm taking a chance, but no, I'm pretty fair with and I haven't really had too many people question the price, and we try to be pretty fair with the prices. I mean, there's stuff that I've gotten in there that is selling for a shitload of money on the internet, but I'm not going to put that price, in the store. I'm putting that kind of the fair market value of it, but I might try to sell online for that.
If somebody doesn't buy it after a
yeah,
while. Right.
But yeah,
Sure.
But there's stuff like we have this like album. It's the band, and it's like a 8 album
Rock of Ages.
box set. I can't remember the name
The
of
band
it.
like Robbie Robertson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it goes for like $300 or $400 on eBay, and we got it in our store for like, I don't know, 140.
Yeah.
dude,
Yeah.
nice.
But I'm not gonna I'm not gonna price gouge, people.
I appreciate that because I'm more apt to buy more if I find something like that. If I find something where I'm like, oh shit, this is way cheaper than online, I'm going to grab this. I'm also going to grab some other things too. Or at the very least, if I get a big score that day, I'm like, definitely coming back here, home of the deals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can
It
buy.
shows goodwill, right? Yeah. In your customer.
Yeah. People, and it's not a big secret, but people can find these albums cheaper on Amazon. I can't compete with Amazon, but you're not
You
getting.
don't have that Jeff Bezos money?
Yeah.
I don't.
You don't have a secret rocket ship in Pleasant Ridge you're building?
Well, maybe, but I can't. I'm not going to divulge that. But
Fair enough.
yeah. But you can find it cheaper, but you're not getting that experience of my charming personality. In the
100%.
store. Yeah. Plus, my dog is always in the store too, so you come see Dakota. Pet her.
Yeah,
You're getting the full experience.
Amazon does not have dogs. I will go with you there. Like
Not yet.
Definitely. Oh God, they might get them. They might get those Boston Dynamic dogs, those weird yellow ones that move around. I can totally see Amazon doing that and putting them on the trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I'm with you. I think there is something important though about supporting local record shops, not buying stuff off Amazon. Because it's like, if you do buy stuff off Amazon, then basically your local economy will eventually not exist. And you're also losing like hubs where you can make friends and meet people and have interaction and, build a better life.
I like to think I'm a huggable person.
Yeah, buying records on Amazon is I will say this every time it's brought up. I think it's about the dumbest thing you can do too, because you don't know how they're gonna come. The guy that's working for Amazon might not know what the record is and might just snap it in half or something. So.
Yeah, they don't care.
There's just not a whole lot of trust I have in that process. I don't know. Support local record stores, man.
Yeah, but it's just, again, going back to like, it's that you're going in and you're finding, it's the hunt. You guys buy vintage stuff. It's, the biggest thrill for me is the hunt. Mm-hmm.
No, 100%. No, and this is something we've talked about a number of times on the show. It is definitely the hunt. It is the blockbuster thing where you go into the store going, hey, I'm going to rent this movie and I'm going to get a second one, but I don't know what that second thing is, and so and that's the fun of the hunt. The fun of the hunt is, this is my primary target that I'm going and I want to find, I want to take home today because this is what I want and this is what I need. But hey, wouldn't it be also cool if I found something else that I don't even know about yet?
And then you see the cover of Army of Darkness, and that's what you're getting.
Yeah, you're like, mine now. This is mine.
That's the one.
It's just pillow talk, baby.
Well, okay, let's talk. Damn, that was good. All right, let's talk about this because we are talking about the internet. What is it like selling on the internet? Because you guys are also doing that now. Where like you can go on the site and order.
Yeah, we have
from you.
we have a really nice website. You can buy, like, it's crazy. Like, yeah, we've done really well on our website, and I did not think that we would. I will be totally honest with you. And I was like, we're not gonna do, because you can, why would you buy something from us when you can go on Amazon and but like, we've had a lot of like internet sales, and like we've sold like Canada, Australia, like, all over the country. Yeah, the weirdest one that I had a girl buy a Taylor Swift album from California off our website. I do not know.
You can get that at any store.
I don't know.
You can get that at Target.
I didn't question it.
You can get that at Target.
Do they not have Targets in Reseda? What are we doing here?
Yeah, it was one of the variants. So, but I'm like, all right, well, I guess
I'll send it to you.
Yeah,
You're paying
I guess
for
you
shipping.
can't find Taylor Swift in California.
That's crazy, though.
I do like that. I find that a lot on one of the vinyl subreddits I'm in is like vinyl deals, and a lot of times it is just links to like people's record stores, and it's like, hey man, they're doing a 20% off sale. I'm like, all right, cool, go check these guys out, see what they got.
We have a huge reggae section, like I said earlier. We have a huge experimental, people. We sell a lot of that on our website. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they'll be like, shit, I didn't even know we had this. Like,
it's been in the inventory for so long.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah.
What's having live shows at the store like? Like, you kind of talked about that a little bit earlier, and it sounded like it was a good time. But is it stressful to set up? Like, what's it like?
Yeah, I mean, we have limited space. Like, we have open mic. We've started. Well, we just had our second one. It's been like the third Saturday every month, where just people can just come in. Like, we had like a School of Rock band come in.
Those are always cool.
Last Saturday and play, and that was really cool. I think we're gonna move it to Sunday, but it's cool, man. It's but we've had some like really cool, like just the last Sunday we had. And this is one thing too that's crazy about this whole experience. It's just like finding people that live in this area that, like, we had a Emmy-nominated composer, Joshua Mosher, in our store last Sunday. Like, he's done scores for like Looney Tunes, Documentary Now, Basket. I can't think of it, but yeah, he's like an Emmy-nominated composer, and he just like came to the shop one day and we started chatting, and he's kind of new. I think his wife's family is from here. That's how they basically came here over COVID. But Yeah, we had an album release party for him.
That's very cool.
And he had this video of Fred Armisen, like listening to like a single shot of like him listening to the album.
Cool.
And that was really cool. Yeah, so I'm like, 2 degrees from Fred Armisen. I'm in the record biz.
There you go. Yeah, man.
But yeah, and like next Saturday we got the Fairmont Girls
Classic, yeah.
coming in to the shop to do a signing.
They have a new record out.
They do have a recent record out, but they got a live show coming up on the 7th at I can't remember where they're playing, but they're coming in to do kind of a meet and greet. So that'll be a fun time. But yeah, it's cool, man. Like we got into this like really. Nate and I are both like really into like Cincinnati music history and just celebrating like Cincinnati music, and like so that's really one thing that we really wanted to focus on was like giving, just being a part of that community, celebrating it, and like, so
it's a rich history. I mean, there's a lot that's happened, and there's a lot that continues to happen. I mean, I think Cincinnati's pretty underrated, and really all of Ohio and the Midwest in general. I always toot the horn of the Midwest for sure.
We just got some albums in from the Bootsy Collins Foundation. They're trying to raise money to rejuvenate bring back King Records.
Yeah, they want to make a museum down there, right?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so they
really
put
cool.
together this like, I think it's like 12 or 15 compilation albums put out by Bootsy's label. I think it's Funkzilla. I think the name of it.
That sounds right.
But yeah, and all of that money is going to the restoration of King Records, which to me, it's funny to me, man. We have like people like I think people out of like Cincinnati know more about King Records than people who actually live in Cincinnati.
I'd agree with that. Yeah,
we have people coming in like record collectors that are in for like business or what
Yeah.
and they're coming into the shop to look for like King Records stuff.
Yeah.
So we have a very, very rich history in Cincinnati, but so we want to promote that and celebrate that as much as possible. But that we talked about ourselves like doing like a Cincinnati music museum.
Oh, really? That'd be cool.
But yeah, we want to get into like a lot of different. We'd love to get into like record pressing, eventually, and like having more like live stuff. Obviously, we're gonna eventually get a bigger space, but we would love to like do like record pressings and just really kind of get more involved into the local music scene. So.
I think it's awesome that you're just having a space where you can allow people to perform. I think that's a major thing that's hard because like I will say this as a visual artist in Cincinnati, it's hard to find a place to fucking hang a painting at.
Yeah.
And I will say though, Cincinnati does for music is great that there is like various levels and different venues and stuff, but I do think it is important just at any level to have that commitment to the arts and be like, hey man, we want to be a place where we can make things happen, and there can be people that can perform on stage, and it may be their first show or it might be their 1,000th show or whatever, but we're making a space where people can connect with music and hang out, which again, hats off to you and thank you for doing it, because without art, music, dance, visual, like what do we have? Like those are important things, the part of the human experience.
Yeah.
Two-parter. There's nowhere, two-part comment here, I guess. There's nowhere that they tell you how to do all that stuff as an artist, right? Visual or auditory or whatever. There probably should be like some kind of a guide somewhere that's like, hey, you want to do music in Cincinnati, here's how you kind of start out. Here's how you get a gig at Motor Pub or whatever.
Yeah.
If you want to do art, here's how you get your paintings on the wall at the coffee shop down the street.
Yeah.
Well, in my experience, like artistic people are not great self-promoters. They just
No. I hate self-promoting.
Yes.
So I make paintings
They're not,
and
yeah.
music and shit, and I hate self-promoting. I
Yeah.
hate it.
No, I have a few friends that are good artists and self promoters, and I just don't understand how it works. Because like, I think the way it works to be, at least in the art world, is you have to think like a hip hop person. Like you have to think a thing where you're like, I'm the fucking man. Look at me. I got all this money. I'm making all this shit. Everything I do is awesome. And like, I don't have that brain. I have like Sag Shoegaze brain where I'm like, what I'm making's pretty cool, but I could also see how you might not like it and it's not that great. You know, it's like, I can't get on that, like that train of being like, I am the man.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm the same boat
yeah.
as you. I would rather self-deprecate than than put myself out there. Right? It is hard. It's hard to do.
Yeah, it's definitely hard.
So, yeah, I mean, but people
Well-
want it, man.
Well, thank you for
Yeah.
making that space so that people can do it.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it definitely needs to exist. Well, hey, look, we're starting to wind down on this thing. Let me ask you, are you guys taking part in any, like, record fairs, or is that on the horizon? Because I've been to a few, and I've seen different shops, and I just think it's kind of an interesting concept.
Yeah. Like, again, we're, like, so new. We're still kind of discovering that.
Just
like,
testing?
Yeah. We missed a lot of the stuff that came out, like the North Side. But, yeah, we would definitely like to get into that. Probably more locally. You know, again, we're in Oakley. We want to promote that. And I know they do a lot of, like, city fleas and stuff like that. It's just hard, vinyl out in the heat in the summertime.
Yeah.
That can get ugly
That can get ugly quick.
real quick. So, it's going to be more of like a winter thing, indoors.
I think it's smart.
Northside Record Fair is always inside. They do a good
Yeah,
job.
Yeah, I like the Northside Record Fair a lot. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
And I also like the way that they do it where they tell you on the sheet, like, hey, here's what the record store that's here, here's the primary thing they brought. Because that makes it so much easier to shop for me. Where I'm like, okay.
Yeah, if I did something like that, it'd probably be like a specific, like, reggae or something.
Yeah.
Like, I do a very specific genre, and I'm not going to, like, try to guess, what should I take? I'll probably just have, like, one. But, yeah, we would love to do that. I mean, we are really, like, just,
You guys are a new puppy. You got big
we're
feet, big
experimenting
ears.
a lot,
You're just
yeah.
trying to figure it out right now.
Trying to figure it out, yeah. So, yeah, we are. If you come in with an idea, it's most likely going to be a yes.
Hell yeah. Perfect. This is the same way as
do it.
getting booked on my show. You got an idea? Throw it at us.
Yeah,
Hey, you want to do
let's
something
do it,
shop?
man.
Yeah, throw it at us.
Yeah,
We'll figure it
for
out.
sure.
Well, look, guys, is there anything we didn't hit on tonight you want to talk about? Rob, is there anything you want to talk about, like, from the shop that we didn't hit? Or, Luke, was there anything you wanted to hit
There is
upon
one thing that I
is-
would like.
What's up, man?
All right. I want to know, and I always ask people this because I find it interesting. What was your first concert?
Oh, MC Hammer at the Ohio State Fair. TLC opened for him. It was back when they used to wear the condoms on the big baggy
Oh,
outfits.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's legit.
Yeah, I got backhanded by a woman, so I was like, I think I was like, I was either between 8 or 10, and my dad was a fire marshal for the state of Ohio. So whenever they had the Ohio State Fair, they would bring in the fire marshals to like work the various shows. So my dad was able to get me an MC Hammer. My dad was like, hey, I got to work this, so I can be backstage, but like I can get you a ticket to be out in the crowd. So I'm out in the crowd. TLC performs. It seems pretty normal. We're all sitting down. MC Hammer gets on stage. We all stand up. Now, keep in mind, I'm like 8 or 10 or whatever, so I can't see where people. So now I stand on top of the chair, and I'm hanging out. And it's a pretty good time. We're dancing. We're enjoying it. He's, MC Hammer's doing his thing. And then at some point, I'm stage left. MC Hammer throws a towel stage right, like a good 20 yards away from me. And the one beside me goes, Hammer! And like sweeps her arm and just connects with me right in the chest. This like 30-year-old woman just drills me in my fucking 9-year-old bird chest. And I go ass over apple cart and get flipped into the people behind us. Nice. So now I'm like laid out on top of people. Because even though I'm a kid, I'm still fat. So like I just cannonball out some like 2 or 3 people behind me. And then they have to like push me back up. So that was my first concert and technically my first mosh pit.
Mine's not nearly as exciting as that. My dad took me to see Derek Trucks, and that was pretty much it. I mean, I grew up listening to like the Allman Brothers with my dad and stuff. So when Derek Trucks came to town, he's like, "Let's
Where
go
was that
see." That was at Bogart's.
Oh,
Yeah.
Bogarts.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, okay, well, you threw it out there. What about you?
So mine was, I want to say 1988. It was Aerosmith and Guns N' Roses. It was
Solid
like
tour.
Guns N' Roses, like their first like major tour. It was like Appetite to Destruction. I'm trying to remember what album. think
Boys
it
in
was
the
permanent.
Attic,
No,
maybe?
it was Permanent Vacation.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that tour was amazing, and I won it. So this will give you a little insight. Like literally, all I did is like listen to the radio. I would win like shit all the time on the radio. My mom would have to drive me down to Q102, which was in Clifton at that time.
Too, yeah.
Pick up the tickets, and but man, I won like I would win shit all the time. But then I had to like I told you I grew up in kind of a religious family. I had to convince my parents that Aerosmith was like a religious.
A Christian band or
Yeah,
something.
so
I mean, they got
I
wings.
like-
They got wings in the logo.
Yeah, an angel. That
like
angel.
silver,
Yeah.
silver angel.
Yeah, I was
thing.
very creative. I was like 15 years old, man, and like I took me and my cousin. She just dropped us off, at Riverbend.
That's what you did back then, man. You just let
dropped
kids
off
roam
and-
without cell phones. You were just like, get the fuck out of the car.
Oh
See
yeah,
back
man.
here at
See you in 6 hours.
8:35.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that children like we used to be treated like you're getting dropped off like special force in the woods from like a helicopter. It's like, hey man, be at the landing zone in 6 hours, or I don't know. We don't have radio contact for a while.
Yeah.
It's like okay,
It was
we'll figure it out.
Different times.
As someone who has kids now, it's like I can't imagine even in 10 years when my son is 14. Like I can't even imagine.
Just like, hey man, figure it out. See you in 6.
Right. No phone. Hey.
Well,
see
what's
ya.
funny is like my parents would they were the kind of like they would not let me go to the mall by myself, but they'll drop me off at an Aerosmith and Guns N' Roses concert at Riverbend.
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't understand the philosophy of this, but I appreciate it.
Yeah,
A mall is a den of villainy.
yeah.
But Aerosmith and Guns N' Roses.
Well, I think
totally chill.
again, like I said earlier, like the fact that my parents really knew nothing about. I just came up recently. I was at. I took my parents to Olive Garden because that's what you do.
Hell yeah.
I mean, never
For
any
Mother's
breadsticks
Day.
and salad.
Yeah.
well, you
and-
can't go to Ponderosa Steakhouse anymore, so
Right.
Next,
Yeah.
Next logical choice.
Yeah. It's either Texas Roadhouse or Olive Garden.
Yeah, they are closed now with the Red Lobsters.
But there was this woman
R.I.P.
sitting across from us, and like she looked like Grace Slick.
Oh, really?
But Grace Slick now, like I was like, is that? I actually took a double take. I was like, that woman over there looks like Grace Slick, and both my parents just had this like glaze over their eyes. I'm like, you don't know who Grace Slick is? That's your generation, man. How do you not know who Grace? So I had to explain to them who Grace Slick was, but yeah, it's amazing that I know anything about music because like if it wasn't for the radio, man, that was like my escape. But but yeah.
No, that sometimes happens. It is interesting to see like how people get into like different music stuff. Like some is your parents, and then some is just listening to things, and some you just fall down a rabbit hole and you find something at a certain age, and you end up where it is. Like I got some stuff from my parents, like definitely AC/DC. I've listened to a ton thanks to my dad, but like I've listened to so much Aerosmith in my life thanks to my mom. Like I can't listen to Aerosmith anymore because I've just had so much Aerosmith in my life.
But when I was like 10 years old, if somebody asked me what I was into, I knew it and I was ready to tell them.
Yeah.
You have kids now, like they like you ask them what they're into, like, and they don't know. I don't know. It's like, how do you not know? How are you? Do you not know what you're into? Like, I could tell you, like, 10 years old, 1984, I was into Def Leppard. I was into, Van Halen. I could tell you that but now I don't know. It's like, again, I think this is like the TikTok world where like they know songs and not like the actual bands that are producing this music. But now I just sound old, so I'm gonna stop talking.
Well, it's understandable. Like just attention span is short, especially when you're taking in things in like 15-second chunks. It's just like
It's changing the game in
yeah,
a really
yeah,
substantial way.
yeah, in a lot of ways. Luke, man, do you have any final record store questions before we got out of this episode?
I had a question before that, but now I can't remember what it was.
All right.
So no, I'll say no. I don't remember.
All right.
Oh, man, one question.
Get
Have you
it.
had a favorite moment in the 3 months you've been in the store that's like the thing that you're like, oh, this is like why I do this?
Ooh, good question.
So I think it was that proposal, man. So this woman came in and she had an album that she had, I guess she had like custom made it, and the album was like a sign of, what do you think about getting married, and so we put the album like
In the shelves.
Yeah, in the shelves. I told her where to put it, and so that morning it was like a Sunday, and like dude, I think I was more nervous than they were. I was
Yeah.
like, I was like, oh my god, what if this goes wrong?
Somebody picks up the album for the
Yeah.
5 minutes, like they're in the store, somebody else grabs that, like put
I'll
that
take
the
this.
fuck
I'll
back.
buy
Yeah, because I didn't really know when they were coming in, and they didn't even end up coming in until like 5 p.m.
Oh,
And, like,
geez.
she was gonna like text me, which she finally did. But I was like, but then I kept going back, making sure that it's still there. Like, do I know where it's at? But yeah, I was like losing my mind. I was like so nervous, but it was just a really like kind of.
So she proposed through looking through the stacks, and her partner found.
Yeah,
it.
it's really funny because like her partner like was staring at the album and it just did not like dawn on her.
Didn't click.
Yeah, like, and it didn't. Like, she had to like, cause she actually went like looked at it and like kept going. And then she had to like, wait a minute, and go back to it. But yeah, it was really cool, man.
Awesome.
It was cool being a part of that. But
Ugh, what's passing for album art these days? Am I right? Just keeps flipping like,
Yeah.
oh no, go back.
and those that are wondering, she did say yes.
Hell yes.
Nice.
All right, nice. No, I think that is awesome. I think it is super cool that you do get to have those moments of like things like that, where like you do get to make someone's day, or even beyond their day. I mean, they're going to remember that day
Yeah.
for the rest of their life. You
Yeah,
know?
man, it's really cool.
And also what you're saying earlier about like having people coming in for the first time, like, hey, this is my first time ever buying it. It's like, oh, cool. Like, let's have a conversation. Like,
Yeah, let's get into it.
The human
I think
connection
it's great.
aspect of it. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Well, look, guys, final question. What's the future of this? Like, do you got any plans long term for this thing, or is there something you're wanting to get to?
Yeah,
or,
man.
what do you want to make happen?
Yeah, this is like kind of phase one. Again, we have a lot of like ideas kind of we're floating around. We eventually want to get a bigger space. We can do more kind of like live music, do some recordings. Again, we're talking about doing like the vinyl pressing at some point. So yeah. We'll see, man.
All right.
I think we have big ideas.
Fucking Willy Wonka's vinyl over there. I like what you got going on in your
Man.
head.
We just, we were talking about, doing like, again, like kind of like Cincinnati music, kind of some like museum. We're really excited about getting involved with this like King Records. That's really kind of like the heart and soul of like what we wanted to do. So, but yeah, we'll see.
I appreciate you
Stay
championing
tuned.
that too, because that is something that you're absolutely right. It's one of those things where like I think that in Cincinnati there's a lot of people that don't know how important that is, as opposed to people who are outside of it. They're like, holy shit, this is a big deal. And so I'm glad to see that you guys are like, no, we want to carry that flag for that and point out like how much of a real thing this is. Luke, what about you, man? What's the future for vinyl for you?
Oh man, that's kind of a loaded question.
Obviously, coming to Sessions Vinyl Room.
Yeah, I do need to make a trip to Sessions Vinyl Room, of course. I don't know, man. I'm just kind of picking up the things from my collection that I'm missing right now. I've been focused really recently a lot just on, punk from Cincinnati, Columbus, Cleveland that I don't have. Looking for that stuff. I tend to like to find it in store, but recently I have picked a few things up via Discogs from small, record shops across the country and things, just because I'm like, I've never seen this and I've been looking for 20 years at this point. So I'm just kind of filling out some things like that, and just on the hunt for the next cool thing.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I got my disc on I got my list on Discogs where I'm like, all right, if I find it in the wild, this is what I need. So I kind of check every time before I go into a shop. I'm not stopping anytime soon. It's not even stuff that I need. It's just people are going to keep making new music, or I'm going to walk in, I'm going to find something like, oh shit, I didn't know this existed, or oh, I had no clue I was going to stumble upon this today, and I'm just going to pick it up and grab it. And I think that's the beauty of it. It is one of the last few things where I do get to collect, where I do get to walk into a room and not know what I'm going to find, but I'm going to find something. And that treasure hunting is what I love about collecting. So, and vinyl always gives me that. Well, look, guys, before we get out of here, let's hit plugs real quick. One more time. Luke, where can the people find you out online?
General Walcott on Instagram.
And Brad, if they want to find you?
Yeah, Sessions Vinyl on Instagram. We're on Facebook as well.
Perfect. Listener, you can find me at Neo to No on Instagram. You can also find my link tree there. It'll send you to everything else I do. Hey, do you got a friend that's into collecting vinyl? Share the episode with them. Literally, text it to them. Algorithms, not my friend. I'm fucking dying right now on stats. But, so we're not trusting the algorithm at all. Just please send the episode to somebody that would enjoy it. And by the way, if they like that episode, there's over 170 episodes at this point of various topics. Every episode is evergreen. You can jump in wherever. You don't got to start at episode 1. Please don't start at episode 1. It's really fucking bad.
And that theme song is a jam, man.
It is a jam.
You've only gotten better since episode 1. Right?
I'm trying.
Yeah.
You got to learn. You got to learn.
You learn by trial.
Yes, indeed. Yes, you learn by making mistakes.
Hell yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for doing the episode.
Thank you,
Listeners,
man.
thank you for listening,
Fun.
and peace.